Guys, I just unlocked the full potential of the Arduino UNO Q by installing OpenClaw. It bypasses the app lab completely. Now it talks to me via Telegram and I just tell it what to do. Watch it control the LED matrix on its own. You've probably already heard about it, the project with the lobster logo that's been everywhere lately. But in case you missed it, let me introduce you to OpenClaw very quickly. This is an open source project written by a fellow Austrian. It's been renamed twice in the last few days, so by the time you watch this, it might have a different name again. It gained crazy popularity over the last few days. The project pitch looks like this. You buy an Apple Mac Mini. Good luck finding one in stock right now. You install OpenClaw, you connect it to all of your accounts, Gmail, WhatsApp, Telegram, and many more. And it has full access to the Mac Mini and to the accounts. The last thing you need is an LLM, a large language model. Anthropic's Claude is preferred. Once this is all set up, you'll have a personal assistant that's there for you 24/7. Much like Jarvis from Iron Man, or have you seen the movie Her? While this is absolutely impressive, it's also a security nightmare waiting to happen. The biggest issue, it's a honeypot with all your credentials and it can be hacked via prompt injection through any connected account. A persuasive email could trick the AI into sending all your passwords to a stranger. And even if you don't get hacked, parts of your personal data get sent to the LLM. So knowing all of this, why in God's name would I install this monster lobster on any of my machines? OpenClaw is impressive. It can solve problems autonomously with minimal input, search online for solutions, and even write code. Here's the key. You don't have to give it access to any of your accounts. And it doesn't require powerful hardware. All the heavy lifting is done by the LLM, which makes the Arduino UNO Q perfect for this. My plan is to install OpenClaw on my Arduino UNO Q, connect it to Telegram so I can communicate with it, and connect it to nothing else but the LLM. I'll start with Claude, one of the most powerful models available, but I'll also experiment with open source models running on my own hardware. Installing OpenClaw is very simple. You open up AppLab for the very last time. Maybe you'll be forced to install some updates for the very last time. Then you connect to your Arduino using SSH. The actual installation is a creepy one-liner that you can find on the website openclaw.ai. Then OpenClaw guides you through the installation process. Most importantly, you have to add an LLM. I tried to use my Abacus AI API key, but as you'll see later, this didn't work. To communicate with OpenClaw, I chose Telegram. It's very easy to set up. You just have to write a message to the bot fella. Make sure it's the official one with the verification mark. Then give your bot a name and a unique username. It'll then create your token, copy it into OpenClaw, complete the setup, and start the gateway. OpenClaw should now respond with a pairing code that you need to approve using the CLI. Otherwise, everyone could chat with your bot, which is not what we want. After restarting the gateway, the only answer I got from my Arduino was a connection error, without specifying what exactly it was trying to connect to. But it turns out it couldn't connect to the LLM. Without the brain, it can't do much. So after hours of trying to get my Abacus AI API working, I decided that it was time to just throw a little bit of money at the problem. I signed up at console.anthropic.com and purchased $5 worth of credit. Inserted my API key and suddenly the thing came to life. I quickly explained the situation as well as I could. It hesitated for 5 minutes and then went straight to work. It figured out that it was running Debian Trixie on ARM64 and discovered the GPIO pins and the LED hardware. It managed to control the LEDs that are connected to the Qualcomm chip. It also figured out that there was a Linux SBC and an Arduino microcontroller on the board that communicate via a router bridge. Did it find this information online or discover it on the system itself? I don't know. It then tried to compile code for the microcontroller, but the process got killed. OpenClaw figured out that the system was running low on memory. At this point, the Q was running in SBC mode connected to a display, so I restarted it into the headless mode to save some memory. Also, Up to this point, OpenClaw was somewhat restricted, and I finally gave it full system access without any restrictions. So after all these changes, I asked it to display high on the LED matrix. It worked hard. It took some time, but it absolutely did it. Actually twice. After I wrote, "You did it, wow," I think it was compelled to try again. This is pretty amazing. You just tell it what to do and it does it. But it comes at a price. This thing was burning money like a wild true loop with an expensive API call inside. Yeah, because that's basically what it is. I later found out the reason why it was burning money that fast. I thought I'd selected the cheaper Claude model, but I was actually running the most expensive, most capable Opus model, but at least I have some stories to tell. But yeah, at this point I figured that it was financially unsustainable for me. This is a very efficient way to get rid of your money. And all of that just for blinking LEDs on a board that I hate? No. I did some experiments with Ollama in the past. And I knew that my MacBook Pro M1 Max with 64 GB of RAM aged well. It can run decent LLMs locally, not quite as fast as the AI compute farms that caused a global memory price crisis, but decent. So first, I checked out the models that I already had installed on my MacBook, because our internet connection is very slow. In my area, our only way to connect to the internet is a rotten twisted pair cable that was designed and installed before I was born. If you ask me, it's a miracle that I get download speeds around 4 megabytes per second. So first I tried GPT OSS 20B. It responded with its internal thinking process. Interesting, but not helpful. DeepSeek R1 doesn't support tools. It's already more than a year old. Time flies. Qwen3 Coda 30B looked promising at first, but turned out to be pretty useless. Dolphin Llama 3 70B. Qwen3 Vision Language 4B, a tiny visual model. I tried it just for fun. It seemed completely confused. Qwen 2.5 Coda 32B responded in JSON notation to my messages, which was creative but useless. At this point, I was running out of models and patience. After reading some promising results online, I decided to give GPT OSS 20B another chance. After enabling the reasoning parameter, it actually responded correctly. It even managed to control the RGB LED colors. But when I asked it to turn off the LED matrix, it failed. I gave it access to the Brave online search API, but it couldn't figure it out. The API, I mean. I downloaded GLM 4.7 Flash and tried it without reasoning. It was able to search online, which gave me hope, but it gave up quickly. My last hope was Nemotron 3 Nano 30B, which could connect to the internet and answer simple questions, but it also failed to control the LED matrix. Local models are almost there. I have big hopes for the latest open source model, which is called Kimi K 2.5. I heard a lot of good things about it, but so far there's no small version of this model available. The full model requires a minimum of around 240 gigabytes of RAM. I would have to run a cluster of multiple Macs or buy a crazy Mac Studio. So for this amount of money, I think it's best to use Kimi K 2.5 in the cloud for now and fuel the memory crisis a little bit. It should be significantly cheaper than Claude. I just added credits and connected it to my Arduino UNO Q. Time to find out how well it works on the Arduino. Please display high on the LED matrix. Oh, you see that? That was faster than Claude. I only see error messages here, but it succeeded. For some reason it waits and then sends me all of the messages. This is a very capable model and it's an open source model. So technically we could run this self-hosted on a very expensive hardware, of course. That's amazing. Can you scroll the text hello Kimi K 2.5 on the LED matrix. Ha! Something is happening here. So we have scrolling text, but maybe it's too big. I see something scrolling, but I can't read it. Please fix it. Hello Kimi K 2.5. Whoa! And it did it. Isn't that amazing? It's crazy. And for this whole operation here, we burned 15 cents. Alright, so to sum it up, installing OpenClaw on the Arduino UNO Q gives it superpowers. You can tell it what to do using simple text messages. It will figure out how to do it and it will solve problems for you. But it will burn through money, especially if you accidentally pick the most expensive model on the planet, like I did. If you configure it correctly and choose a cheaper model, the costs are much more reasonable. Local models aren't quite ready yet, but they're getting close. For now, stick with cloud-based LLMs. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe. Let me know, did you already use OpenClaw? What is your experience? And what do you think? Is this the best way to make use of Arduino UNO Q? Because the hardware is actually pretty capable. If you want to know what I think the biggest problems are, check out this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.